are the most what the crashes of all time. Ready? Buckle up. There are many ways to crash an F1 car. You can push too hard, misjudge the braking, get unlucky with the weather.
Yes, it did. That's Lando Norris.
Lando, are you okay? Are you okay? Yeah.
Or you can go full throttle into turn 1 at Suzuka because, well, why not?
This is amazing! Senna goes off at the first corner!
I actually wasn't talking about that. To understand what I'm really talking about, we need to rewind a bit. It all started back in 2023.
Oscar Piastri going to drive for McLaren next year. Alpine have lost their appeal to the contract recognition board. Is that what it's called?
After Oscar Piastri's betrayal left Alpine looking like absolute clowns, they needed a new poster boy. Someone loyal, someone good enough, someone who wouldn't roast their sim. Enter Jack Doohan. Talented? Yeah. Next superstar? No. Bro wasn't the next Verstappen or the next Leclerc. Hell, he wasn't even Piastri 2.0. He was the best Alpine could find while still pretending they had a long-term plan. Consequences? A team in absolute shambles. A full carbon fiber car that stays slower than a broken lawnmower. And a team spirit so toxic, it could text my ex and they'd probably get along. By the time 2024 rolled around, Jack officially signed on as a full-time driver. Normally that would be a reason to celebrate, until the new generation showed up. Franco Colapinto, Paul Aaron, Ryo Hirakawa, Kush Maine. 4 new reserve drivers ready to bury my guy the second he blinked wrong. The pressure? I can't even imagine it. Wait, I can. Way too vividly, because the Australian showed exactly how well he was handling it in Japan. FP2. The idea was simple. Run some laps, collect some data, and bring back the car in one piece. No.
We've got a yellow flag because Jack Doohan has gone off. That's heavy.
Mate, you all okay?
I'm okay, yeah. What happened?
Jesus. Rookie mistake, you may say. Negative. Man kept DRS wide open into turn 1 like he was chasing pole at Baku. There wasn't even a failure. DRS worked fine. He just chose violence against physics. Now, Suzuka's turn 1 isn't exactly casual. You're blitzing it at 185 miles per hour, needing every molecule of downforce. So why is he doing that shit? Well, bro basically said, I trusted the sim. Unreal. That has to be one of the worst arguments I've ever heard. Jack trusted the sim, I'm trusting you. Please hit subscribe before we both end up jobless and upside down in the algorithm. Speaking of chaotic DRS moments, imagine this. You're flying down a straight at Monza, top speed, vibes immaculate, everything's smooth. It reminds me of a time I tried riding a rental scooter after a few beers. Long story short, the brake said, nah, and I ended up hugging a bush at maybe 7 miles per hour in Birmingham. Now picture doing that, but at 185 miles per hour, because during free practice 2 at Monza 2018, Marcus was absolutely sending it down the main straight. Full commitment. Full throttle, full trust in the car, and then DRS said, Mamma mia.
Okay, are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay.
The wildest part? The son of Eric just casually climbed out like he tripped on a pavement. Built different, no debate. Thanks to the halo and all the safety upgrades, bro survived a crash that looked straight up GTA material. Funnily enough, despite literally tasting the sky, the Swede still raced that weekend. Started from P18, and after the most average race, he finished P15. Not the end he wanted, but hey, surviving a triple backflip, that's a W in my book. Not the same as when Russell was cruising under safety car, and disaster occurred. George wasn't just driving at Imola in 2020, he was vibing under the safety car, trying to keep those tyres alive like his whole career depended on it. And well, it kinda did. I mean, Williams hadn't scored a point all season, and George was basically carrying that team harder than Alonso carries Aston now. Lap 51, yellow flags out, safety car deployed after Max's tyre decided to explode and send him into the gravel.
Max Verstappen. As you can see, right rear to the
Something broke on the car.
Everyone's creeping around at grandma speed. But you know the rule, right? If you try too hard behind the safety car, you're just asking the racing gods to, well, humble you. And they did.
Don't know what to say.
And the Brit, he got caught in 4K. Front wing shattered, car dead, hopes evaporated. And to make things worse, they finished the season pointless. Scenes. Anyway, you know how they say history repeats itself? See, at Imola, Russell took that a little too literally. They're sending it.
Lewis Hamilton takes it away, but he lands on, and he's lost it.
And then there's whatever the hell George Russell thought he was doing that day at Imola. I mean, obviously, you're already flirting with disaster trying to DRS move at 185 miles per hour in the wet. Lap 31, Bottas defending P9 like it was the last golden ticket to Willy Wonka's factory. And Russell, he decided this was the moment to be him. Spoiler, he was not him.
We're going to get a safety car now, because that's Valtteri Bottas and George Russell, who are out of this race.
What was he doing? Honestly, is he a for what? What the?
I swear, my soul left my body seeing the aftermath. And you know what made it worse? Of course, there's more. George jumped out of his car, stomped over to Bottas, and smacked the side of his helmet. Yeah, you heard that right. Guy nearly killed both of them at 185 miles per hour and still went for a post-crash WWE moment. Now, Toto Wolff? Oh boy, Toto was molding.
I can understand from each driver's perspective that it wasn't his fault, but if you look at it from a global perspective, from where we sit at Mercedes, it's something that shouldn't be happening.
Translation, congratulations, you just bought yourself another year at Williams, bro. Meanwhile, George had the audacity to double down, saying Bottas moved slightly and could have killed them both.
Valtteri moved very slightly, and that just put me offline and put me onto the wet stuff, and in perfectly dry conditions on a very not ordinary circuit, it's dangerous.
Big yikes. But of course, after watching the replays, George walked back on his statements, apologized, said he would clear the air with Bottas. Pretty rich after trying to reenact the UFC weigh-in on track. And while Russell and Bottas were busy playing bumper cars, the stewards called it a racing incident. But let's be real, it was sketchy as hell, and Toto probably smashed at least 3 innocent headphones that afternoon. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, surely no one could bottle it worse than Russell at Imola. Spoiler alert, post-race Stroll said, hold my beer.
I mean, seriously.
I mean, imagine this. You survive a whole F1 race in Sepang, dodging crashes, pulling cracked overtakes, hard carrying a mid-Ferrari.
Here's Sebastian Vettel on Fernando. And that chance is coming, and that chance has come, and it is gone, and he has taken it.
Literally dripping sweat in that brutal Malaysian heat, cooked everyone, dominated the midfield, fought all the way to P4, and then gets absolutely packed at 12 miles per hour by Lancey Boy.
Stroll is not looking where he's going.
That's why
Sebastian Vettel backed off. He's coming home here, Martin, with one wheel on the back of his car.
Broken and the wheels.
Like, really? Really? And it wasn't even a crazy racing incident. It was legit 2 cars vibing at walking speed, minding their business, until bam! Seb's rear tyre climbs Stroll's front wheel and the Ferrari does its best lowrider impression. Rear suspension, dead. Gearbox, cooked. And just when you think, okay, surely Stroll gets a penalty for that, right?
Well, Vettel just ran right into the side of me.
Surprise, surprise, stewards called it a racing incident. No blame, no apology. Seb's radio afterwards, man was losing it.
What a bunch of idiots. Would you believe it? Would you believe it?
Yeah, we can see it.
Unbelievable.
We can see it, Seb.
Unbelievable.
We can see it, Seb, yeah.
What a...
And if you thought it couldn't get worse, years later, Vettel and Stroll ended up as teammates at Aston Martin. And yep, of course, they had a few moments again. Russia 2021. Stroll tapped the wall and then collected Seb like he was picking up groceries.
That's his teammate, Lance Stroll, just ahead of him. Whoa!
No, they both got away with it.
So yeah, Vettel's Malaysia 2017 was a W until it turned into one of the most cursed cooldown moments in F1 history. But what could be worse than getting hit in the cooldown lap? If you thought the pit lane, you're absolutely right, because that's exactly what happened in the next moment. The 2008 race in Montreal was already cooking with chaos. The track surface, cooked. Safety car? Of course we had one. And the pit stops? Man, those were like Black Friday sales at Walmart. So obviously, something dumb was about to happen. Around lap 19, Kubica and Raikkonen pulled into the pits under safety car. They stopped neatly at the pit exit because, you know, a giant red light flashing in your face. Hamilton, meanwhile, must have been thinking about what he wanted for dinner because he never even touched the brakes.
Oh, the pit lane's closed and Hamilton has hit the back of Kimi Raikkonen.
Presumably the red light was on, it's green now. I'd love to know whether it was red when Ferrari stopped, but Hamilton...
Bro just sent it into Kimi's Ferrari after evading Kubica's rear like he was trying to unlock a secret boss fight. It's honestly insane because Lewis wasn't a rookie. He literally had just won Monaco 2 weeks earlier.
And Lewis Hamilton wins the Monaco Grand Prix!
Like, bro was the one, and then he just fumbled. 1 second you're a future GOAT, and the next you're starring in your own Fail Army compilation. Hamilton got a 10-place grid penalty for the next race, pretty much nuking his title chances harder than he nuked Kimi's rear wing. Pain. Actual pain. But hey, every L creates a W for someone else, right? Since Kimi and Lewis were out.
This is looking handy for Robert Kubica.
Kubica suddenly had free real estate ahead, and boy, did he cook.
Rubens Barrichello has the satisfaction of leading up as Kubica goes up the inside and takes that place away from Heidfeld.
We need to increase the gap to Nick.
They've got their pit stops out of the way. He's yet to unlock the first victory, but it's coming now here in Montreal. Robert Kubica wins in Canada. He takes the lead in the Drivers' World Championship.
I'm not gonna lie, seeing Kubica bounce back after surviving that horror crash in the same circuit. Peak cinema. If you thought Hamilton's pit lane bowling was peak WTF energy, just wait until you see one of the most iconic crashes of the one and only Mr. Crashtor Maldonado. Of course, we couldn't have a video about crashes and not mention our only Venezuelan F1 driver. In Bahrain 2014, Maldonado was that guy. The 2014 Bahrain race was golden, but man, nothing, and I mean nothing, could have prepared us for what Pastor was about to do. Lap 41, Esteban Gutierrez exits turn 1, minding his own business, and out of nowhere, here comes Pastor. No spatial awareness, just pure send mode.
That's Esteban Gutierrez and Pastor Maldonado.
Gutierrez gets absolutely yeeted into the air. Full 360 flip. I swear, dude did an Olympic routine mid-air and somehow still landed better than most gymnasts. Miraculously, Esteban walked away like it was just another Tuesday, but the visuals, straight nightmare fuel. And obviously, the stewards were not about to let that slide. Pastor got hit with the full punishment combo. 5-place grid drop for China, 3 penalty points on his super license. And Gutierrez, man deserved a medal just for surviving that absurd yeet session. If you thought flipping a car was peak chaos, just wait until you see an entire grid try to KO itself on a straight line. Italy's very own Mugello circuit. Old school track, high-speed corners. Sounded like pure old school racing, right? Anyway, Mugello 2020 was already off to a chaotic start. Verstappen got absolutely cooked on lap 1 because of a power unit issue. Bro was crawling on the straight like a grandpa crossing a highway.
I'm stuck. This is what you get. Honestly.
Gasly packed into the gravel trap like he just won a Who Can DNF First challenge.
Johnny hits Verstappen. Kimi Raikkonen also hits Verstappen for good measure.
But hold up, that was just the warm-up. The real shambles came on lap 6 after the safety car pulled in. Normally, the leader, Bottas this time, controls the pace. But Mugello being Mugello, the finish line was so far down the straight that Bottas had to basically tiptoe, waiting to send it. And the guys in the back, they were like, oh shit, we're racing, let's go. So they gassed it while the leaders were still chilling. And then boom, full NASCAR pileup. "12 cars tangled. 12. I swear, it looked like one of those TikTok edits where cars just start pinballing off each other. Now, to make things worse, everyone started pointing fingers.
That was stupid from whoever was at the front. They want to kill us or what? Fortunately, this is what happens when you turn off the safety car lights so late.
The FIA obviously did an investigation, and their final answer? No one's fault. Communication issues. Okay, thanks, bye. Bro, communication issues. That's like saying the Titanic just had a navigation miscommunication. And just to add extra pain, there were 8 DNFs that day. You can't make this stuff up, man. Funnily enough, even after all that mess, the race wasn't over. One more red flag, more drivers tapping barriers, more teams sweating. But honestly, after that lap 6 massacre, everything just felt mid. Mugello didn't just give us Crash Fest, it gave us a reminder that in F1, chaos doesn't need an invitation. Sometimes it just floors it and takes everyone with it. This is a reminder that even the best 20 drivers in the world are humans and make fails just like us. And if you're still craving chaos, make sure you check out the worst crashes of this century. And as always, thank you for watching.